Meet ISTQB Prep. Designed for future ISTQB certified testers, ISTQB Prep gives you everything you need to prepare effectively, from realistic exam simulations to AI-driven insights. Practice like it's the real exam. Get timed ISTQB-aligned tests featuring official sample questions so you know exactly what to expect. No more second guessing. Receive instant feedback with clear explanations, helping you understand why an answer is right or wrong. Stay on track with detailed performance analytics. Pinpoint your strengths, identify areas to improve, and watch your confidence grow. Get access today through GASQ or ISQI, whether as a standalone prep tool or bundled with your ISTQB exam. Study smarter, boost your confidence, pass your exam. Start preparing with ISTQB Prep today.
Hello everyone, my name is Atefa Amlashi and I'm very happy to be your host today at the A4Q Testing Summit. Thank you for joining us as we bring together the global testing community for 2 days of knowledge sharing, practical insight and discussion around software testing, quality engineering and the latest industry trends. For everyone joining us here today, you are currently attending the ISTQB dedicated track, where we are focusing on topics, experiences, and the perspectives from the global ISTQB community. My guest speaker here is Riou du Cosquer, CEO of Certilog, TMMI lead assessor, and chair of the ISTQB Foundation Level Working Group. With more than 22 years experience in software testing and quality management, Eric today will discuss, is the ISTQB Foundation level certification still a must-have in the age of AI? I'm pretty sure it's a question of many of you. Hello, Eric, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, Atefe. Thank you for inviting me.
We are happy to have you here. And please just do not forget to vote for Eric if you like his presentation by scanning the QR code you can see now on the screen or at the end of the presentation. Please join me in welcoming Eric. Eric, the stage is yours.
Good. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Very happy to be talking to you this morning. So the question is ISTQB Foundation level certification still a must-have in the age of AI? So firstly, I think you need to agree that today it's a must-have. How can you see that it's a must-have? At least in France, it's clearly a must-have. Why? Because it's nearly impossible to apply to any position in the field of software testing without being an ISTQB certified tester. And it's also a must-have because it's clearly supporting the efficiency of the test activities of any tester. But the question is really very important today. Is it still a must-have? Of course, AI today is everywhere. Testing is also changing rapidly. We need to know how to deal with testing AI systems. And we also need to take into account the fact that we can be supported by AI with our testing activities. So we're going to challenge this assumption that AI will make ISTQB certification useless. We are going to challenge that a little bit today. If you know me a little bit, I guess you will think about the answer I'm going to give, because I'm the chair of the ISTQB Foundation level working group. So you're probably thinking that, of course, this guy is going to say, yes, it's still a must-have, but we'll see, not sure. I try to do a deep analysis of the question, and it's what we're going to see all together. So today, I'm sure that you have all experienced the use of AI for some of your test activities. You have probably tried to generate test cases, to write automated test cases. You've probably also used AI to analyze defects, maybe to review acceptance criteria or to generate acceptance criteria. So I'm sure you have experienced that. And what is your feedback about this? What do you think about the outcome of AI to support your test activities? Test case generation, test case prioritization, writing or reviewing requirements. I think that when we try, at least the first time, we have the feeling that it's perfect. Wow, we are impressed. But I think that 2 years ago, we were really impressed by the outcome. But today, we are more and more demanding because we know that it's supposed to be perfect. But is it really perfect? Not sure. I think there is a couple of hidden problems. Firstly, AI sounds confident. When you get an answer, it's a bit like, that's the truth. Take my answer, use it, and that's fine. Another issue is that AI may miss risks that you can identify based on your experience in testing, but also your experience in insurance or in a medical domain or any other domain. And another problem is that with AI, you may generate weak tests. I mean, a large number of test cases, but some of them not being really efficient. Another important point is, I think that AI is only as good as the tester. It's very important to know what to ask to AI. It's very important to know how to ask to AI. It's also very important to be able to check the output from AI. And finally, it's very important to ensure that it's going to be profitable. It's a bit like, and this is why you've got this picture on my screen, it's a bit like you're in a very large store. You know that you're going to buy something, but you need to know what. You need to know what your needs are. So you need to know what to ask, what to buy. You need to know how to buy. Are you going to ask someone in the store? Are you going to pay by yourself? And so on. And once you have bought something, you need to ensure that it's the right product you needed. You need also to ensure that it was profitable. You need probably to compare the cost of this product, for example, a tool, and the use and the benefits you will get from this product. So let's have a quick look at what foundation level really teaches. In foundation level, and by the way, are you foundation level certified? I would assume that around 70% of you are already certified. You will maybe let me know that at the end. So basically, we have a lot of information at the foundation level. Sometimes we are told that it's too much, but I think it's really very important to have the fundamentals to be able to test correctly. So at the foundation level, we'll be presenting test activities. That's very important because sometimes we consider that testing is only about executing test cases, which is not the case at all. We'll be talking about test levels. We'll be presenting test design techniques to design efficient test cases. We'll be presenting testing roles. And by the way, these roles can be full-time, like I'm a full-time test manager, or part-time, like I belong to an agile team, and from time to time, I have to design and execute test cases. From time to time, I have to deliver some reports about the quality and about the progress of the test activities. And of course, we also cover the very important topic of test planning, monitoring, and control. You need to know what to do. You need to assess the efficiency of your test activities, and you need to be able to measure the quality of the tested product. So are all these concepts still useful or not? If you have a look at this picture, it's a bit tricky because it's either useful or not useless. So at the end, it's probably useful. Yes, I'm a little bit biased, I assume, I admit. So if we go back to some of the important things we have at the foundation level, for me, a very important picture is this picture showing all the activities hidden behind the word testing. So we have test planning, monitoring and control, test analysis, design, execution, and so on. And we also have the output of the test activities, the test deliverables. And that's very, very important. So for me, being able to understand this picture is a prerequisite for any test activities. You need to know what to ask. So you need to know what testing is. Otherwise, how do you want to use AI if you don't know what to ask? Another very important information that we give at the foundation level is test levels. It's very, very important to understand that testing is not only about executing test cases on the code written by our colleague developers. Testing is not only about executing a user acceptance test once the product is fully implemented. Testing is about implementing test cases at different test levels, very technical or not technical at all. So I think it's absolutely mandatory to have this knowledge to be able to work in the field of testing. When we talk about AI, we, of course, have to think about prompting. Are we able to prompt correctly? On this point, I would say that prompt engineering requires testing knowledge. I'm talking about efficient prompt. Firstly, you need to be able to have a good structure in your prompt. It's going for sure to improve the AI responsive. So a good structure, that's point one for the prompt, but that's not enough. You also need to have a good content. And to have a good content in your prompt, you need to have the knowledge I was talking about, the knowledge which is provided by the foundation level. So to ensure that the quality of the prompts will be good, you need to have a good structure for your prompt and also a good content. So that's basically the common story of garbage in, garbage out. The tricky thing is that you might be using a good structure for your prompt, but if the content is not good, the output will not. So I think we should all agree that testing AI systems, which is now part of our daily activities, also requires some testing fundamentals. You can test a system using AI, and for this test, you will have to put in place all the basic concepts addressed at the foundation level. Like you need to know what functional testing is. You need to think about non-functional testing. You need to be able to implement risk-based testing. You need to be able to implement something like a dashboard with relevant metrics and KPIs. That's something you always need to do. But when you have to test a system using AI, you need to update your skills. You need to update a little bit your methodology. You need to add new things, new characteristics to be tested. A good example for this is the standard ISO 25059, which is about quality characteristic of the software. And this one includes a number of specific items for testing AI system. For example, we have a characteristic called functional adaptability, which is specific to the system using AI. So I think it's very important when you test AI system to implement all what you've learned before, but you definitely need to update your skills to understand the particularities, the specificities of the AI systems. So two things: using AI to support you with your test activities, and second thing, understanding AI to be able to efficiently test the systems using AI. For this presentation today, I will mainly be talking about using AI for the test activities. And my next point is this one. If you can't measure it, don't trust it. And I'm talking about the output deliverables created by AI. So basically, you need to be able to measure the effectiveness of the use of AI for your test activities. You need to implement quality metrics, coverage metrics. Risk coverage also has to be measured. You can think about metrics like the test case acceptance rate. When you have generated a large number of test cases, you will have to review them one by one, hopefully, to check that they are relevant. Some of them will be discarded because you consider they are not good. Some of them will be kept. Some of them will be improved, slightly modified. So you need to have this kind of information. Another useful information to assess the effectiveness of the use of AI is to measure the number of defects found by AI-generated test cases. If you have a large number of test cases, all successfully executed, it may mean that these test cases are not relevant, not efficient. So it's very important when you start using AI, or even if you're been using AI since a long time, it's very important to have a way to measure the effectiveness of the use of AI. So effectiveness is very, very important, but that's not all. That's not all. You also need to think about the efficiency of the use of AI. If it takes more time to do what you have to do with AI than doing what you have to do without AI, why should you use AI? So a key question is AI really saving time and money? So to ensure that the efficiency will be great, you need to implement another kind of dashboard with different metrics, different KPIs, such as the total time saved, the cost savings, the productivity improvement. That's very, very important. And I think it's not very difficult to have this kind of metrics. If we take a couple of examples, you can clearly measure the time spent to review and to update the test cases. You can compare that to the cost of the testers. And at the end, you should be able to check that the use of AI is efficient and effective. With AI, I would say there's no limit. And we have no idea about what we'll be able to do with AI in the future. But sometimes I already have the feeling that we're asking too much to AI and that it's not reasonable. We can ask AI to generate the code, generate the test cases, review the test cases, execute the test cases, report the defect, generate the report, make the final decision to roll out a new product in production. Isn't it too much? I think if we take all these points one by one with human in the loop, as we often say, it's fine, it's okay, it can work. But sometimes we may have a tendency to ask everything to AI. And I think it's really very, very dangerous. So we need to keep control on the use of AI. This being said, what about training? What about learning the skills that are very useful to implement an efficient test environment? So you need to know what to ask to AI. So you need to be aware of the fundamentals of testing, of the test design techniques. You need to be able to understand the test activities and so on. That's very, very important. And to get this kind of information, I think the best option, the best answer is to go to the foundation level syllabus and to become an ISTQB foundation level certified tester. I'm not trying to sell my baby. I'm just trying to convince you again, if you're not already convinced, that it's absolutely mandatory to understand the basics of testing before asking AI to test for you. Another very important point is to know how to deal with AI, how to ask AI. So that's about prompt engineering. What I told you previously is that it's very important to consider not only the structure of the prompt, but also the content of the prompt. It's not that obvious to have an efficient prompting, not that easy. So the best way to know how to ask efficiently AI to support you with the test activities and to get effective and efficient results is to think about the ISTQB GenAI certification. This one will be explaining you how to use AI to support most of your test activities. And you'll be given a lot of advice to know exactly how it works and to save time and money with your test activities without losing control. The next point is about how to check the effectiveness of the use of AI. I told you that it's very, very, very important to check the output coming from AI. To be honest with you, I think that today we have this kind of habit to check the results given by AI. But I'm afraid that in a couple of years or months, we'll trust AI too much, and we're not going to take time to check the output of AI. But today, it's still very, very important. It's still mandatory to check the effectiveness of AI and to be able to measure this effectiveness with a set of relevant metrics. To think about that, I think that the best syllabus we have in our ISTQB portfolio is the test management. Because in the test management, you'll be explained how to identify the most relevant metrics that you need to follow up the test activities, to measure the quality of the testing system and products. You will be explained how to document the metrics with a goal, with a way to measure, with a frequency for the measurement, with the communication of the results. So this test management is really very, very useful if you want to build a relevant dashboard. And the next point was about measuring the efficiency of the use of AI. I think it's exactly the same question as the one we have to deal with when it's about test automation. I guess you know the story. I guess we have some test automation engineer in the room. So when it's about test automation, the first thing to consider the test automation strategy with basic questions like, what can I automate? How much time is it going to take? How much time am I going to save with the test automation? How much time will I need for the update and maintenance of the automated test cases? You need to think about the efficiency of the tests, of the test automation. For the use of AI, that's exactly the same thing. You can for sure get good results, but it must very important, it must be efficient, and you need to have measurements of that. If some of you are managing a team of testers, I guess it's great for you to let them use AI, but my advice is to have this kind of dashboard to ensure that the output will be effective and efficient. For this last one, of course, the test management is also the best one. So my answer, I think I went a little bit faster than expected, which is good. So that's my answer after 15 minutes. I would say yes, the foundation level certification from the ISTQB is still a must, but I think it's not enough. If we consider business analysis, something which is happening at the very beginning of the project when a customer will be starting to think about a new idea, a new project. The needs will have to be identified, documented before the project is started. So business analysis is very important. And the question I have for you is, do you think that business analysis can be replaced by AI? I'm not going to give you the answer. The next point is about requirements engineering. And don't take me wrong, I'm talking about requirements engineering, but for me, it's also fully applicable to the agile software development. So requirements, epic features, user stories, we have to think about that. The question is the same. Do you think AI will be able to replace requirements engineering? And the last point I wanted to speak about is about software development. Again, we know that AI can support software development in various languages, Python, Java, for example. Same question. Do you think that AI will replace software development? So we're talking about the replacement of business analysis, and behind business analysis, you have people, you have business analysts. Talking about the replacement of requirements engineering, and behind this term, we have people, again, requirements engineers, product manager, product owners, and so on. And do you think AI will replace software development? And again, behind software development, we have people. We have developers, a large number of developers. I have my own answers to this question, but I will let you think about that. And that was my answer, which is yes. Well, that's a big yes. Yes, but let's have a look at the answer given by Claude after 3 milliseconds. It was faster than me. So I'm not cheating with you. I just given the question to Claude without any context, without any additional information. So it was probably not a good prompt structure. I just copy-paste the question, and here is the answer from Claude. Is it still a must-have? The answer is yes, but with caveats. The ISTQB CTFL remains the most recognized entry credential in software testing globally. It establishes a shared vocabulary, foundational principles, and the baseline that employers still look at. Yeah, this first part makes me very happy. That said, it's no longer sufficient on its own the way it might have been a decade ago. This one also makes me happy because I'm not saying that the ISTQB foundation level certification is the only one that the tester will need to be efficient. I'm just saying that it's the must-have. You really need to have it. And then, of course, you will need to have additional skills in testing. It's what I spoke about when I mentioned the other syllabus like ISTQB Gen AI, test management. I could also have mentioned the ISTQB AI tester, explaining how to test AI system. So my final question could be, which answer is the best? Is it mine or is it Claude? I will let you answer this one. So that's about it for what I wanted to share with you today. It's a short presentation. I will be very happy to take questions. If you've got some question right now or later, you have my details on this page, so you can drop me an email or a message on LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to get in touch with you and to chat a little bit about this very, very important question. And if you have any question right now, let's ask, and I'll do my best to answer without cheating with AI.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for helping us exploring this important question. But you explained, I'd like to open the floor for the question from the audience, and we have some question. Yes, what do you think about Claude answer?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, when I got it, I really played the game. I was a little bit surprised because it's more or less the same as what I answer. So I think the answer is very good. It could be a little bit more detailed, like giving example of the other trainings and skills that are useful in addition to the ISTQB skill. But I think it's a very good answer. It just would be a bit better with more elaboration, but it's a good one, I think.
Thank you. And do you think AI can replace business analysis?
Good. So thank you to come back to this question because I just raised it. I didn't give my answer. That's a tricky question because replacing business analysis with AI means that you're going to ask AI to clarify your needs, to clarify what you want to have. I think it's becoming to be very weird. So I think that AI will be supporting business analysis more and more. For example, with managing surveys, analyzing answers, reviewing business requirements. But I'm fully convinced that business analysis will never be fully replaced by AI.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say the same for software development. That was my third question at the end. I wouldn't say the same.
Oh, okay. Vote for Eric if you like his presentation, but Eric also mentioned about the other complementary certification from ISTQB portfolio. Today, we have more presentation. I know at 4 p.m. Abbas Ahmed will present ISTQB CityGen AI, testing with generative AI syllabus, and it's a good opportunity to know more about this syllabus also. So, A4Q Testing Summit is a 2-day event with many exciting sessions still ahead. And if you like to hear more from Eric, you'll have another opportunity today at 2 p.m. today, CEST. Eric and I will meet again in another summit track. And Eric will put on his TMMI lead assessor hat on and take us into the world of TMMI, sharing insights into testing maturity and how organizations can improve their testing processes. We look forward to seeing many of you there on that track. Thank you again. Thank you, Eric. If you missed any presentation or if you want to rewatch this presentation, you can find them at our website or YouTube channel. And enjoy the rest of Testing Summit.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Meet ISTQB Prep. Designed for future ISTQB certified testers, ISTQB Prep gives you everything you need to prepare effectively, from realistic exam simulations to AI-driven insights. Practice like it's the real exam. Get timed ISTQB-aligned tests featuring official sample questions so you know exactly what to expect. No more second-guessing. Receive instant feedback with clear explanations, helping you understand why an answer is right or wrong. Stay on track with detailed performance analytics. Pinpoint your strengths, identify areas to improve, and watch your confidence grow. Get access today through GASQ or ISQI, whether as a standalone prep tool or bundled with your ISTQB exam. Study smarter, boost your confidence, pass your exam. Start preparing with ISTQB Prep today.